it's Sammy and welcome back to another video. It feels like absolutely freaking forever since I've sat down and just like filmed like a sit down talking video, but I'm doing it today. This feels so weird. I'm so not used to this. Anyways, I, as you know, wrote a book. It's called The Beautiful Life of a Boy. It's an LGBT YA love story and it's available on Amazon everywhere, and now the digital copy is available for only $3.99. So if you don't want to get the physical version because you just maybe don't like wasting paper or you don't like physical objects in general, you can get the Kindle version on Amazon or the ebook version on Amazon now. I'll put a link in the description. But anyways, speaking about the book, this is another episode in my series about writing and publishing a book that you guys are creating because it's a Q&A. I asked on Instagram for some, cheeky questions about everything involved in writing a book, and today I'm going to answer them broadly. I'm not gonna read specific questions because there was a lot of overlap, so I'm just gonna pick, I just wrote down the most common ones and those are the ones I'm gonna answer. How did you start writing your book? So that's a super crazy thing because I don't even really fully know how it became I'm writing a book, I'm publishing a book, this is happening. I originally just one night started writing a book on Wattpad of all places, and just posting chapters for a couple weeks, and I mentioned it to my co-author at the time, some people, and they were oh, you should write a book, or we should write a book, and I was dang, really? And the original book that is still posted on Wattpad, you won't be able to find it because it's under a different pen name, was so different than freaking what The Beautiful Life of Boys is today. For instance, it was not boys, it was girls. It's crazy how different it is. But yeah, I just started writing and then it slowly turned into, oh, I wrote a book. Never did I think when I started writing a book I was gonna finish writing a book, you feel? Because that's scary. What character did you think of first? This is super weird because I definitely in my head had an image of what Carter looked like and what his personality was going to be before I had what Brighton was going to be about. Even though Brighton is the main character, in my mind Carter is the stand-all be-all, he's my child. If you haven't read my book, this sounds crazy. Hi, my book's two main characters are Brighton and Carter. I definitely had the way Carter looked like first and his whole character sheet, but Brighton's name definitely came up in conversation first, and then we tried to find a shorter, cute little name that sounded good with Brighton and Carter. I think they sound so good together. Brighton Anderson, Carter Hall. They're such good names. Out of all the names in any of my books that I've ever written, I think these two are the best. My children. But yeah, definitely Carter / Brighton were the first to be thought of. But I always knew I wanted a character named Naomi, so technically Naomi has been in my head for years before T-Bob even existed. What was the hardest part? For me, the hardest part definitely wasn't actually sitting down and writing the book. I didn't really have too much writer's block during the whole thing. I definitely broke the book up into being written in I would write 10 chapters in one day and then not write for 2 months. But that wasn't me having writer's block, that was me just being busy. I moved house in the middle of writing this book and everything, so that was difficult. But the hardest part was definitely grammar and spelling for me. I am learning it more now, but going into this I didn't really have the biggest knowledge of where commas and punctuation marks go and how to use a semicolon and all that stuff. Thank goodness for editors, or else oof. Yikes, it was rough. But yeah, definitely the grammar and spelling aspect of it. Well, not much spelling because I could just look it up in a dictionary, but capitalization. Ugh. Do I know when to capitalize any letter? No. Now I do though, but in the beginning when I started writing T-Blob, I had no clue. This is a fun one. If you had to kill one of your characters, what one would it be? T, sis. We were actually gonna kill off one of the characters. It wasn't gonna be, oh, I almost spoiled something. No, that's not allowed. So when we were planning the book, it was totally a different book. So we definitely at one point were gonna put Brighton in the hospital. And at one point we thought maybe we should kill Sid. None of that happened. Obviously, that's not a spoiler. This is not that kind of book. This is a YA romance novel. No one dies. no one important dies. So if I had to kill one character, I would probably, I'd probably kill Elliot. Is that bad? Elliot's my least favorite character in the book, not for any particular reason, just because I don't really relate to the younger brother character because I am not young, nor am I a brother, nor was I ever a younger brother, so I just don't vibe with the whole like, I'm a rough and tough younger brother, cars. What was your favorite part about finishing your book? My favorite part about finishing my book was finishing my book. No, I didn't really like finishing my book. I felt so sad when I like wrote the last chapter. I like had to stop and I just sat there and was like, because it's like, you asked me about killing all my characters. Finishing that book, writing the end is like killing all your characters at once because their story is done, it's told. Like I don't think I could go anywhere else with these characters. Their whole story is told in this book and I was so sad. But I guess the best part was not having to worry about deadlines or anything like that. After I finished it, it was mostly just working with my editor to get it done, which was, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, the worst part was finishing it. The worst part about finishing my book was finishing my book. What was the hardest part for you after you finished writing? The hardest part after writing was definitely editing. I designed the cover. I made this cover, everything. So the cover before I made it was definitely the most like scary part because like I did not know how to make a book cover and I did not know how to use the programs to make a book cover and I didn't know anything. So that was terrifying, but once I did it I was like, this is adorable, I got this. So it was probably definitely, what is that? Ew. It's probably editing. Because really that's like 90% of the book. Like you finish the book, you have it written down, but then you edit it and things get moved around, things get chopped up. It's crazy and it's stressful and like, do you know how many like tears were shed while editing this book? Like at least 3 times a day on like harsh editing days, it would just be like bawling my eyes out like this needs to end. Why did I write a book? But then like once you're done editing, it's like you have this beautiful, polished, amazing, sweet child that looks like, oh my god, if you take a page and like you look at a page in the book before it's edited and then after it's edited, it looks like a whole different book. Like it's so pretty and wow. So yeah, editing was the hardest, but it also was like the most fulfilling because it made your book into a book and not just a bunch of words on paper. And lastly, what is your least favorite chapter? I definitely have a least favorite chapter and I don't know if a lot of writers do, but it's just because this one chapter I did not know what I was talking about when I wrote it. We needed some way in the whole like plot and scheme of things to tie up the whole like bully person thing. And we also needed to tie in like them getting into college because you know it goes through their entire life. So we made them start a GSA at their school. I don't know exactly what chapter it is. Oh, it was before Christmas, 100%. No, it was before fall break, yeah. When you look at your book and you cry. I don't know what chapter it is because to be all honest, this isn't the finished copy of the book. This is the unedited one because I keep giving away all of my copies. It's the chapter where they come up with the idea. It starts off with them like going to the library, coffee shop, and like Carton picks out Carton. Is that their ship name? Oh my god, what is their ship name, guys? Brighton gets Carter's like favorite coffee and they look through all the yearbooks and then they decide like to write a report on it and then the report turns into them starting a GSA at school because they realize that there's never been one and like my school didn't have one of those, so like I have no idea how it works, how the meetings go, how anything like that. So it was just like a lot of Googling, a lot of like references from like other pieces of literature that have like that aspect in them, and it felt so scary because I don't know anything about that because our school didn't have that. That's like not a thing in Arizona. So I'd only heard about it from like Love, Simon and like other movies. So like it was like, I definitely feel, I think it's my least favorite chapter because I feel insecure about it. I feel like it's not 100% correct with like the real world. Which is why I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone and write less like realistic fiction and write more like fantasy because I need to like be able to write things that aren't real. Or at least in my mind I haven't experienced, but that's like a whole nother. But yeah, the GSA chapter is my least favorite because I feel like it could be better if I had lived more life. or if my school wasn't horrible. Okay, so that is it for this Q&A about writing a book, questions authors never answer. I don't know, what's the clickbait title for this video? Who knows, because when it comes to books, you have to draw the kids in with clickbait. Anyways, guys, if you want to get The Beautiful Life of Boys, it is available on Amazon. There is a link in the description if you want to check it out. We also have merch. It looks like this. It says, "Thanks and Gay." It's about Brighton's inner monologue during the whole book. So, anyways, guys, if you actually like this video, please remember to like it by clicking the thumbs up. If you were subscribed and you have not yet, click the bell below to turn on my notifications so you're notified when I post. You can actually enjoy my content. Join the party. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Flop.